It's time to press pause and talk about stuff. Also, fix our background.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
that's fancy.
There's a fancy press pause background.
Oh.
Hey, I have no idea what episode it is. We don't even know what we're talking about, but Hate Zero, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? And what is up, Pause Gang? It's your boy, Hate Zero, your hero.
And Crawler, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you. It was a good Nintendo Day today.
Good Nintendo Day. Yeah, right, Eric?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it was good. Yes, I was not. I know everyone here, President Company, is pretty hyped, but it was good. I'm not disappointed, but I'm not like blown
not
away
best
either.
direct they've ever put out.
No, I mean
think it's up there.
Anything with Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, like. Those are some hard hitters. Like Splatoon 3 doesn't do much for me, so that did nothing for me.
Got it. Okay. Fair.
Mario Kart 8, like if it was Mario Kart 9 and they showed off some like cool new features with like bringing Double Dash back or something, I would have been super hyped. But I'm excited for 48 new maps on 8. Like that's pretty awesome, but I'm not blown away by it. You know what I mean? Like I think we expected it. We talked about it 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't shocking, but
I liked Josh's tweet this afternoon. It was like, got it. Scheduled maintenance means 48 new tracks.
It doesn't. It means 8 at a time over the course of 2 years. So what have they been doing for the last 17 years since Mario Kart 8 initially launched?
Playing as Waluigi on Wigglers with tiny wheels.
Yeah. Strikers was cool. That was unexpected, and that was really cool.
Strikers is going to be good.
But even the Wii Sports, I'm not really excited for. Like,
I am the bowling.
Did you see how uninspired the female was doing all of the motion? It was like,
yeah, they said gently, and I'm like, I never gently threw my Wiimote. Like, hey, when I went bowling.
It doesn't look. They did not sell that to me as something fun. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
As long as it's better than Clubhouse games, like because Clubhouse would get angry at you if you were like too violent with it.
It's look, they don't want to sell Joy-Con condoms or have to give out the. That's why they're saying gently. They were probably reluctant to release it, knowing that it would like. I mean, you have to remember. The console that the Switch just surpassed in sales has a major nostalgia pull for the generation that says the Wii was my first system. Yeah. And they all had Wii Sports, and most of them played Mario Kart, right? So like, and then what did they lean into in the Mario Kart? Coconut Mall. Right? Like that was like the only track they said by name. I mean, they said a few of them, but that was the main.
Yeah, Choco Mountain was the other one, but
yeah, but that was it.
Excited for.
Yeah, but it'll be cool.
That like they made one of the most chaotic courses of 64 with Yoshi Valley, like a really cool course in 8. So I'm excited to see what they turn a chaotic, because that Choco Mountain could be a chaotic thing. If you got hit by a boulder or fell off the cliff, you were screwed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a game changer.
They can make this one hopefully interesting.
And so, I was excited. Well, yeah, so Dread was a funny one. I was really hyped. I'm like, Dread DLC already. I wanted to play again, and then it's impossible mode. So I was like, oh, neat. Like, great.
I am excited for the April update. With the boss rush mode, I'll go back and play that some more. Like that'll be fun.
I was hyped because I want any excuse to go back and play that, but impossible mode, I know it's Dread mode, but that's not going to be it for me. The game was already hard enough. Like, I can't even fathom what it would be like one-hit kills.
That's for the people that go run it in 2 hours now.
That's insanity on its own. But there's that one boss.
Remember, we're talking about the guy that struggled with Glass Joe.
Hey, I beat Dread and Glass Joe for the record. But what's that one boss you fight kind of early on? It's the really big one.
The Scorpion one looking one, the Invis.
The 2-story one?
Yeah, the 2-story one.
Kraid.
Right. Yeah.
I can't imagine how you can ever beat that on Dread mode.
There's a way if you go in with Morph Ball, like you can, there's ways people have broken the game crazy.
Well, no,
Okay.
it's a
strat because there is a Morph Ball tunnel in it. So.
Yeah, and you shoot into his stomach with your Morph Ball, and like I think it's an insta kill.
Oh, well then,
yeah,
that would be the only way I see that possible then. But otherwise, you know, Portal was cool. Portal was really neat addition. I might pick that up. I really enjoyed playing those.
I'll play Portal again. Yeah, because
I've never played the second one.
And Force Unleashed, like watching the trailer for that again, I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since I played it. But it's also kind of a miss that they aren't putting Unleashed 2 on there as well.
Why not? But it's not as good.
Did Force Unleashed 2 come to Wii? Because this is a Wii port.
Yeah, which is also like, why are
weird,
you doing
which
that?
is kind of weird. I mean, they're doing it because of the motion control stuff.
Yeah, but graphically,
I played it on. Was that a 360 game or was it an OG game?
360.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's where I played them.
That
was fun. That was like like black kyber crystals, and you could change your lightsaber blade. But
the physics in the game, where like plywood would break in certain ways and glass
splinter,
yeah, it was unheard of at the time. Eric checked out. He's like, I don't care about.
Well, Eric's totally buying the Three Houses Muso game, right?
Wait.
Oh, his mic.
We can't. Oh no. Oh.
Hello.
Oh no. Hello,
I'm turning it off and on again.
He just left. We're doing it live. All right. We're doing it live. Oh my gosh. See, Nate, look, here's Nate in the chat saying, I love Disney Racers. See, they don't make you pay for courses.
They're going to make you pay for every little nook and cranny that you want to put on your car, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Crawler and I are on every other show. We need Eric. Where is he? Where'd he go? This turns into NPC the moment Eric leaves. Maybe come back. Come back.
What else was there at the very beginning? Because it was
Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they're doing Three Houses stuff with that.
Dude, the Muso games have improved so much, so much.
And the latest Zelda one had like decent story mixed into it. So the story that was in Three Houses makes me feel like if they incorporate any of the elements that they had in Calamity stuff, that it should be a good game, and fans of Three Houses it's all those characters again. So all the waifus and husbandos and all that.
I have no idea. Did you just name a cereal?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I think it's a cable. I think a cable is going bad, and if I touch it, I lose connection forever.
The inside
you need to go get a new USB-A to USB. Is that a USB micro USB?
It's a mini. I think it's older.
They're
it could be the inside of the Yeti then.
Yeah, it's a common occurrence with those things, unfortunately. So
neat. Anyhow, where were we?
New microphone.
Get a beacon or something like that.
Beacon.
Yeah.
USB mic. It looks like this with a light on it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty.
It's expensive though.
Oh yeah. Forget that. So where were we?
Striker. I'm super hyped for Strikers.
Yeah.
We stopped. We just literally sat in silence waiting for you.
We just stared at each other.
I apologize to everyone listening. To all you listeners out there who had to endure that, I apologize.
Nate thought we turned into the Smash Bros cast. He was like, "Is this the Smash Bros cast?"
It was heading that way, Nate, and that's why I peaced out. I was like, I'm out. Forget it. I was about to talk shit. Yes. So No Man's Sky, right? Like that already sucked.
I want to go back and look at that footage. Does it say if it's actually Switch footage in that? I obviously probably is not, because it looked sharp.
It didn't say, but I'm sure it has to be. But the game already runs poorly on Xbox and PS4, so I can't imagine how bad it's going to be on the Switch. And I know it's been updated and maybe they fixed some of it, but it did not run well when I played it. So I'm really excited to see that on Switch.
I'm gonna pause real quick. Hoffman, if you're having trouble with that, try YouTube real quick, and you might have more options.
Thank you, Twitch, for only letting us do 1080p. You're the best. Thank you.
But everybody, speaking of YouTube, everybody should go to YouTube if you aren't following the Press Pause channel there, because we need probably like 89 more people to like the page and the URL. So
yeah, something like that.
So yeah, we'll definitely come to the Discord. N64josh.com.
Are we already wrapping up? Man, it's good.
No,
you can find me on Twitter.
I'm pumping all the socials, you know.
I wasn't sure. I was confused. But I mean, maybe it's a good
11
idea
minutes, and Eric was gone for half of it. So it's a good show.
Doing it right in the middle or early stages when people haven't checked out yet, probably a good idea for us.
Yeah, it's good. Good idea.
So yeah, Strikers looks cool.
I'm a little confused by online. I know Josh was super confused live because I was watching.
What are you confused about? I feel like I had a complete grasp on it in just one watch.
Well, so I know it's 8-person local, so you can each control a character.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that kind of 4v4 online can happen. I think it's going to be you in the classic sense of Strikers.
Of course, dog's playing with squeaky toy now. I don't think so. It sounded like it was just you and your what do they call teams in football? Clubs. Yeah, it was just you and your club is what it appeared to be, or at least that's the only mode they hyped up. So there probably is a free play mode where you can just 1v1 your buddy, or maybe 2v2. I don't know. But it looked like just the club mode was all that was available, which I'm guessing is just going to be, you versus another club.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I'm optimistic on. Is this Camelot again doing this? I don't even know.
I didn't even.
I hope
see
not.
That.
I hope it's next level. I'm gonna look right now.
I didn't even see that.
I am optimistic as we've gone through the sports titles, because tennis had a strong showing at the beginning, but it definitely fizzled quickly, and it struggled with just keeping online play.
I think that's just the nature of a Mario Tennis game, though. Like, because I think the game was fantastic at its core, but I just don't think Mario Tennis ever had the audience like Mario Golf got.
But Golf, like, they did a little bit better by adding some stuff in, but even still, the current online is only the ranked stuff is only 3 holes, and it's kind of lackluster when it comes down to like a skill shot or the power special shot or whatever at the very end of the whole. Like, it's kind of just do your best and then screw everybody over. Wait as long as you can and screw everybody over as much as you can. Whereas if you play 9 holes or even 18, like, there's a little bit of strategy to when you throw that power shot in, and there's no rhyme or reason to it in the 3 holes that you play. So I'm more hopeful that they're feature rich in these games as they've been progressing.
In the very short preview we saw of club mode, and just by the description of it, it sounded to me like everything we wanted from Aces that we didn't get. It sounds like they finally took the feedback and are giving us that tournament style mode where we can, take the entire Discord. When I say entire Discord, I mean 28 of you, because I think that was the size. And have like a proper tournament, right? Like, it finally sounds, and maybe we could run, Crawler hosts one, I host one, Josh hosts one, and now we've got 28 times 3. I'm not even going to do the math right now because there's 8
almost
involved,
60.
and then you gotta do weird stuff and carry and so so it sounds like, and then we can get someone else
I think 54 is the number you're looking for.
Yeah, 54. But then we can add 28 more with the dork from Nintendo Powercast that you have on there, or the two dorks. So you got two dorks there. So you could do 2 times 28.
You're coming on that show in like a little bit when more Zelda stuff comes out. You're gonna have to face that.
I'll
music
be
here.
a dork too. Yeah,
All right.
that's fine. They don't watch this. They don't know.
Somebody clip that. That's going on TikTok.
They don't watch this. Who are we kidding?
They like to lurk in chat.
I was
All of a
hoping
sudden-
I would see one of them.
We'll see Johnny will be like,
Johnny,
I heard that.
Mr.
I
Nice,
heard that.
Mr. C. No, what's
Cheesy.
I always forget. Cheesy C. Cheesy
Yeah.
C. I always forget his name.
So I just need to
Yeah.
because again, so we get 8 players local.
Yeah.
But we think it's 1v1.
Online
For that
Like
mode,
the
I think
classic,
so.
the classic just versus, where you control your whole team.
But I also think Nintendo would. I can't imagine them doing 8v8 online. Nintendo's never been very robust with any of their online stuff. So can you imagine them trying to figure out how to handle 4v4? Like,
Well, at least 2, like with 5 characters, 2v2 is doable. That's how all the other games have been.
Well, the 5th character is your CPU controlled goalie. So
yeah, right. So it just, you got 4 people running around, then that's, I mean, I played Strikers, I don't know, it's probably been a year ago. We did like a Mario sports night, and it was great. 2v2, because you can just bounce between 2 characters each. And the only thing that I noticed about this one in particular is it looked like it was a little on the slow side.
yeah, it didn't seem to play incredibly fast, but
I mean, it's a small arena. It's tactics based, kind of, where it's almost like Rocket League, where you try to blow up the car, or you body check somebody into that electric fence. It takes them out for a second, and then the biggest thing I took away from that is, you charge up the special kick or whatever, and you can be disrupted while you're doing it. So they definitely said do it while your opponent is distracted, because if you get it fully charged and you score, you get 2 goals for that goal.
Yeah,
I definitely got the Rocket League vibes from it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we'll see. It did seem like it played a little slow, but the field is small, or the characters are big too. So
right.
If it played any faster, it would just be maybe too quick.
And Donkey Kong and Bowser don't care about the rules of soccer. I saw him picking up the ball.
Yeah, no kidding. I was watching that too. I was like, I guess this is how we do this. Yeah.
Well, and I love that Nintendo's just leaning into the arcade side of things. It's not like there's any kind of simulation going on whatsoever. Yeah. And that's where these games shine, right? Like I mean, I think the 3 of us all liked Aces more than most. I liked all the power moves, and
I thought it was cool,
and that kind of, like, the charging and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, Strikers just needs to have, like, the reason I mentioned the speed, because if it's too slow, it will affect the overall, like, fun of that game. Like, Strikers on GameCube is relatively quick, so. But and I really do hope we at bare minimum get 2-on-2, even if it comes later.
Is this the 3rd installment then?
Yeah,
it was on GameCube, Wii, and then now Switch.
There is another soccer game in the Mario Sports All-Stars on 3DS, but it's not.
But it's more just traditional.
It's more traditional. It's not. I mean, it's still very Mario, arcade.
But it's not lean. It's not arcadey up to 12 kind of deal.
But I'm really curious about what all the different costumes do, and I love the way they had Mario looking all like
a Master Chief helmet light on. I don't get that, but okay.
That was cool, and I like that it changes the stats. It's not just skins, so you can make Mario a tank and have strength and whatever. To circle back to Aces,
that could be why it seems slow. Is maybe they were running a power build or something like that.
They weren't running speed, and maybe some characters are really fast and play fast. Maybe those stats are not just arbitrary and they actually equate to gameplay. But to circle back to aces, and I guess golf to the same point. I think the way they did the power-ups was done really well. They weren't super overpowered. Like in aces, it felt like it was super overpowered at first, but then once you realize you can block it and get the timing right, and you weren't as afraid of those. As long as it's like that in strikers, where those, I understand you can break the charging, but if you don't break the charge, is it basically an instant 2 points? Like that's where I'm hoping there's still something you can do. It's not
well, at
so
that
OP.
point you're at the whim of your CPU goalie because you never had goalie control in strikers.
Well, then yeah, it sounds like then it's guaranteed 2 points because the goalie gets blown away. So in the clip we saw,
they kind of almost leaned into that in the commentary. They're like, who can score the most? Like, it's not a tactics defensive.
I mean, that's
kind of
the
game.
name of any sport.
Yeah, it's but soccer is a
Score more than the other team. That's it. That's how you win the game. You want to win the game, you score more than the other team.
I think what he said, it's going to be a score-heavy style game versus.
Oh God, I hope so. I hope we don't finish an online match 0-0. Like,
That's what she said.
but yeah, no, you're right. It's probably gonna be like what 15-12 or something. It's gonna be high scoring, more fun. Which, I think that's what we want. We're not playing FIFA. None of us would probably enjoy FIFA.
I play FIFA occasionally, but yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
very different
for sure.
It's a trailer I want to go back through. I want to kind of go back through it because the only reason that it would be 1v1 is because they may only have one hero per team. And if that's the case, I mean, that's how it was.
That's how it was. You had like Koopa Troopas with you, and you were go back and like on the YouTube already. It lacks a lot of commentary.
YouTube. How old are you?
No, the YouTube video that they already the trailer
on the YouTubes.
Earlier, Crawler sent me the email, and I checked the email.
So, the video that Nintendo has already put on their YouTube channel,
on the YouTubes,
the YouTubes, is lacking a lot of commentary. So I would go back and watch the VOD from the direct because I feel like they voiced over a little bit more and gave more insight with that.
Gotcha. I got you.
Because the breakout video is more of a 2.5-3 minute commercial with not a lot of VO on it.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I'm like, I could hear my wallet screaming the entire direct. It was like, it's just top of its lungs.
Weeping. It was weeping.
Yeah, because it wasn't super heavy going into this year. Like we knew there was stuff coming this year, but this is a lot of new stuff. At least like Mario Kart's my wallet's already been billed for it, so that's good. Yeah. But Kirby looks. I want to talk about Kirby because it looks like the Odyssey team got their hands on Kirby, and it's a better version of Cappy. I feel like with the car and the cone and the some of the other stuff. It's not like on demand, kind of like what we had talked about as a brainstorm on NPC last night.
Also a better flood.
Yeah.
He's Splatoon. That's what it is.
I saw a good Photoshop. Somebody put the Kirby car in the Mario Kart 8 character select screen. It's like, we need this crossover.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You know what's odd about the Kirby car is, and I get it, right? It's the mouthful mode or whatever, but like he doesn't swallow the whole thing, so you can see the little edge of the car, and it just feels weird. But
what were you hoping? He would just kind of somehow let the wheels out?
Every other time he turns into the thing, right? So
and that's they showed some of those abilities, like the sting, like the flying stingray through the air. Like
That was
he
cool,
he
too.
totally morphs into a different shape. So there's
Yeah.
going to be these oversized items that are mainly, I think, area triggers, like use the cone to bash that water main to go up high, and the car
I like
seemed
the
very just
lift more than anything because that's the most ridiculous thing you can be.
and that
I'm
is
gonna
what
turn into a
sparked the
lift.
Odyssey thought in my head was
Same.
because the whole
The long leg
the long
creatures
leg
that
thing,
you-
yeah.
yeah. That's immediately that's when I went to. I was like, whoa, this just became very Odyssey, or maybe Odyssey was very Kirby.
Probably.
And Waddle Dee Town growing like that. That's
It's
a really
pretty cool.
cool. Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it's a very understated title, but the little bits they've been drip feeding, I think, are building the hype on that game quite a bit.
I'm interested in seeing this post-apocalyptic world that he's venturing into and what the deal is with it. So I'm curious what the story is gonna unfold because it's basically the last Kirby of us, or the something. Someone clever figure something out there, but it looks like a lot of fun.
It's just Kirby of us.
Kirby of us.
Just Kirby of us. Yeah.
I'm for it.
The last of Kirby.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, the game looks fantastic, and I mean it's just right around the corner. Like it's going to be here before
March
we know it.
25th.
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and is Triangle Strategy before that?
March 4th. We're getting
So like as soon as we get out of this month, like
It's
we're just climbing the roller coaster hill right now because it's once we get into March, we're going.
You've got 19.
Well, not even because Horizon comes out at the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
And Elden Ring at the end of the month too.
Elden Ring too. I forgot that one looks good too. Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough time. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but like I just picked up Sifu and I'm loving it. We'll get to it, but
yeah,
but there's a lot. And then I bought Pokemon. How do you even call that game?
Arceus.
How do you call that?
How do you
call that?
So I should just say so good tonight. So well tonight.
We talk good.
We're showing our age, right?
Arceus. Yeah, I mean that game's just gonna sit for the rest of its life now that Earthbound came out. So
I might actually play. I have access to Earthbound, and I don't know how many different. I have it on the classic, and I have it. I think probably
on
one
DS
or two
somewhere.
Yeah, but I've never actually sat down and played it. But like
you should. It's timeless. You know, it's the story. It's really good, really fun, worth your time. It's a timeless story, and because of the nature of the game itself, like the graphics didn't age. The NES one clearly aged a lot, but I mean, it still looks extremely playable, and it's hard to. We were talking a little bit about Force Unleashed, and after playing Fallen Order, I'm gonna have a hard time going back to Force Unleashed. I'm just going to it's going to be hard to play something that looks like that 360 early 360 late Xbox early 360 era did not age well, and the gameplay mechanics sucks, the AI suck, like the graphics suck, but the 16-bit era all aged so beautifully. So Earthbound's perfect. Enjoy the ride.
Now, Mother 1, Earthbound Beginnings.
Yeah.
Is this the first? Do you guys know if it's the first time that we're seeing it localized in the West? Because I was just trying to look it up myself, and I was like,
I'm not sure, honestly. I can't remember because, I mean, to be completely honest, the first time I ever played Earthbound was not on a SNES card. It was through emulation, and because they became increasingly hard to find as well later in our lives. But I don't know if Mother 1 was ever localized here, to be honest with you. I never played it. I did play Earthbound, but I never played any of the others in the series. So I'm excited too.
It looks like it went to Wii U Virtual Console in 2015.
That doesn't surprise me. Wii U has everything.
Wii U
Yeah.
was the first time we saw Earthbound Beginnings.
2015. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
So again, nobody played it.
Yeah.
Only 13 million people had access to it.
Yeah, I don't think I had my Wii U by 2015. I think I'd already given up on it, which I regret doing, but that's neither here nor there.
So pretty cool though. That I mean, it's
Yeah, For
and
sure.
like kind of like Nintendo. Like the writing was on the wall for Xenoblade 3, and I know it's at the end, and this has a point, but I'm wondering. I mean, this morning, the devs from Earthbound were up bright and early, tweeting and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And like, do you guys think that there? I mean, I know Mother 3 is the one everybody wants,
Yeah.
but then there's
Fire
also
Emblem
Earthbound
got
64.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Fire Emblem got the OG Fire Emblem got localized after 35 years.
That
So,
looked
I
good
mean,
too.
the Treehouse and localization team at NOA is apparently doing some work. I mean, and that's been something that's been requested for a long time, and giving both titles of Mother into the Switch ecosystem like that's kind of foreshadowing. They don't hide it very well when they're going to foreshadow stuff.
So wait a minute, looking it up now, because everybody in our chat yesterday was saying that it was the GBA game, but Earthbound 64, Japanese Mother 3.
Yeah, so Mother 3
is it a
did
DD
exist.
game or
was planned as the third game in the Mother series, but apparently was canceled.
Yeah, and there was screenshots and I don't know if there's footage, but I remember seeing it in magazines.
I'm seeing right now.
Was that a 64 DD game or was it just a regular, just Japanese 64 game?
I don't think it was a DD game.
I can find out. I can open up the.
Because I wonder, because I was thinking about that the other day about possible localized stuff from the 64 DD, and F-Zero X has a DD expansion or whatever it was in Japan, and that is slated on the expansion pack roster for the 64 titles. So I'm wondering if they would put the expansion, like the stuff that was on the DD-ROM, into that when they give it to us.
So they do go on to talk about like the system was quickly on its way to being replaced by the N64. Development shifted to the N64 DD, and the add-on proved a failure, and the game was changed to cartridge release and planned for the same size cartridge, which contained the same size as Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. And yeah, so looks like it just kind of was in development hell for a while, and then finally kicked the bucket. So,
well, and so speaking of like older titles coming, like Square is kind of just barely, like they're tickling around some areas here, because we're getting Chrono Cross, which is the sequel, kind of the pseudo sequel kind of to Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger hasn't had a proper, like, any port that has come out, like even on Steam, it's a poor phone port that has been put out. Like I wonder if Square is finally gonna pony up just a little bit of money they need to do a proper port, because Chrono Trigger is regarded as like one of, like, in that Mount Rushmore of JRPGs from that 16-bit era, or of all time. Like, and I haven't, like, I have it on in a not so legal sense on my SNES Classic, but it's like I want.
Look at him sweating. I don't want to say the E word.
Yeah, I didn't say it. But like, I want a proper way to play that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want the subpar version. Like I could go pay the $7 on Steam, but I don't want a shit version of it. Like I want a good proper version.
Well,
and that's easily played.
Let Nintendo pony up the money and get it on Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, I mean that's what I almost want. Like,
yeah,
because where did Chrono Cross was Chrono Cross a SNES title?
I believe it's PS1 or PS2.
Okay, so that's and it's going to be it's a $20 eShop title. I don't know if it's coming out physical or not, but Square tends to not want to those remasters put a lot of physical money behind it, especially because of the Switch tax. But $20, I mean, I'm not quite sure what all goes into that. But isn't the
it's a PlayStation 1 originally came out in 1999?
What's that other title? Live A Live. That's a Squaresoft game too. Yeah. And Per Schneider put like a whole Twitter thread together kind of talking about it. It's almost like the Octopath before Octopath, because it's like 8 different chapters that are in different
full different time periods,
different time
areas,
periods and different characters.
Really cool.
The whole gameplay is still grid based. It's either primitive weapons in the caveman time or guns in the Wild West kind of stuff, but like it, and then I think he said it all merges together. It all merges together in the final chapter, so that looks super interesting, and that's getting a physical release as well.
Yeah, because we really just burned through JRPGs so fast,
especially us. Especially us three.
Yeah, I have Shin Megami Tensei sitting that I haven't actually touched really somewhere.
We don't talk about that. I got Bravely Default too. Like,
I don't even think I'm going to buy
like
Triangle
60 hours to get through that one. Like,
I like the art style in Bravely Default. Yeah, I don't even know. I really enjoyed Octopath, but I don't know that I'm even going to get Triangle Strategy because I just don't see any scenario where I'm going to actually be able to play it.
I downloaded the demo. You can get through a decent amount, it seems like, to get a feel for it. So I'm going to try that out. That's available today.
I downloaded both demos that they've had so far, and I haven't played either one. So
yeah, same here. I think I downloaded the one that they wanted the feedback for.
Yeah,
and I never ended up doing it. But this one, the progress carries over. So if you want to get a feel for it, that's where to try it.
Let's just talk a minute about Square, because in my mind, they are the third party that is absolutely dominating on the Switch, more than I think any other third party. Ubisoft is close, right? And we did see more Assassin's Creed, and I mean the Switch has almost become an Assassin's Creed machine. I mean, I'd have to look, but you can get a lot of at least the collections, right? But in older games. But I mean, Square is not only putting out classic games, but they're putting out new titles as well. And like, I feel like that is such a great place for them to be in, where they can grab games like Chrono Cross that, like, people are very excited about this. One of the funniest tweets I saw was like, I feel like every time I watch a Nintendo Direct, I learn about games that are super old I've never heard about before.
and I want to play them.
And then I have like 8 people that are like, oh, finally, Baronkadonk is back or whatever, you know, and they're just like, who? You know, like, but I mean, Square, like, they've got this beloved, different IPs that were, a lot of them were PlayStation exclusive, and they're like, here's Switch.
Oh yeah, up in Final Fantasy 6 was, and then crossing over into 7, that was the bridge that turned it all, because Final Fantasy 6 is a SNES title, right? Is that an NES?
The numbers are
because they screwed the numbering up for North America.
It's 3/6 kind. It's weird. Yeah,
it sounds like the Super Mario Advance 2, Mario 3.
Honestly, though, I don't know that they were ever supposed to be PlayStation exclusives so much as the Nintendo 64 was just a development nightmare.
Yeah,
and so because they originally were on the SNES, and then, you know, it made more sense for a lot of developers to go PlayStation. So I don't know that they chose to be PS exclusives.
Well, and the games could be bigger on PlayStation.
Yeah, and you can have
And
real
Final
cutscenes
Fantasy
with
started
audio.
having six CDs on to play Final Fantasy games. Full motion video too. That helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, Chrono Trigger needs to be on this list, right? Because last year,
Mhm.
I don't even remember the name of it, but it was another. It played a lot like Final Fantasy VII. It was. I remember it was one I ended up getting a code for, and it was like, this is so bizarre. Like this is. It feels like a PlayStation game,
Well,
right? Like,
and what's the indie that's coming out later this year? The Stars something. That's Chrono Trigger-esque. That's like the prequel to the Messenger, but it's I forget what it was called, but it was in the Indie Direct showcase.
I don't remember.
I'm looking it up. You said Stars?
Stars something, yeah.
Dragon Quest of
No.
the Stars? Is it
No.
like, is it S period? Like, is it a, do you know?
I don't.
It doesn't sound like he knows anything.
Yeah, every time I type Stars and
Indie Direct 01
Star Ocean
2021, maybe Star Ocean.
that came out in 96.
Yeah, Star Ocean is not an indie.
No, it's a new one. Hold on.
You're gonna get us banned on YouTube for
No.
misinformation.
Sea of
guys are
Stars.
big
Sea
phonies.
of Stars. I knew it was something. Sea of Stars.
It's about starfish.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Sounds lovely.
That's a Square Enix game as well.
No, it's an indie.
It's an indie, I think. Here, it looks like this.
Bring it up. Bring it up. Here we go. Let's see.
Okay.
Ooh. Special
the
guest composer.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This
This
one
is
looks
coming out later this year.
Got it.
right.
There's fishing. Look at that. There's icicles. I'm narrating for all of you who can't watch. They're flowing down a river. They're like 16-ish bit sprites, but way more fidelity than 16-bit sprites.
Yeah. Why didn't they make PlayStation games look like this back in the day? Like
I don't think they knew how.
Well, they
like
all
a 32-bit sprite-based game. Like they just like it was like they like went in to Clay Fighter and they were like, hey, let me borrow some of Bad Mr. Frosty and make this game.
Yeah.
Like
I think that was it though. Like I think people were at that time people were done with the 16-bit era.
Well,
and they didn't want to see more.
They thought it was old looking and they wanted the new hotness.
But now it's retro and cool, right? So it all comes back.
It's not even that. It's timeless.
But we didn't know it was timeless back then. We just knew it was right now. Like, I already played this on Super Nintendo. I don't want to play it again. I want my Mortal Kombat 3 or whatever.
FMV. That was looking sharp back in the
day. I want Night Trap.
Which I have that on Switch and I still haven't played it.
I have 3 copies of it, I think. Like,
jeez.
I'm kind of almost waiting. Speaking of copy, like the Star Wars titles have been getting made by, I don't know if it's Limited Run. I think Limited Run has been printing them. I'm kind of almost waiting for Force Unleashed to get announced for that, and that's how I'll buy it.
You're not going to play it anyway, so you might as well.
I'm not going to play it. I might as well have a collector's.
Yeah, you might as well get it for the collectors.
Yeah.
But again, as much as Nintendo is getting these Star Wars games, shell out that money and get Rogue Squadron on Nintendo Switch Online.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And we didn't even talk about
Rogue Leader at that point. Like it could run. Like it's just a matter of they've proven that they can do GameCube emulation.
Yeah. I wonder how much effort is in there for them and if it's worth it.
Well, but a lot of these games,
the money with Star Wars, the Star Wars games that is it Asper? Is that the name of the developer that's doing all that? And they're doing the remake on Knights of the Old Republic, but they've been doing all that, but those titles have, I think, been selling pretty well. Like all of the Star Wars titles, they keep coming out because we've had almost all of them. We've had Republic Commando. We've had, the only thing we're missing is Rogue Squadron, Battle for Naboo, Rogue Leader, all the 64, some of the 64 stuff we're still missing, like Shadows of the Empire. But they could even probably put together an old school pack and do they could probably find a way to do the old Windows games with like Rebel Assault 1 and 2. Like I grew up playing those on
TIE Fighter,
on like Windows 95, TIE Fighter, and then Dark Forces, which
Empire
was
at War.
Yeah,
is that another one? Well,
which speaking of Empire at War, like that could be what EA is working on with Respawn, like what that third Respawn title, because it's supposed to be a strategy game. Like Empire at War was kind of in that vein. So
sure, yeah. The other thing is like I know that Rogue Squadron is done and on Steam. I know you can get it right now.
Yeah,
and like I'm pretty sure the Jedi Knight 1 and 2. I think those are the ports that were on Steam. I think they just put them on the Switch. So how excited is it? We're going to fast forward. How excited is Eric to hear "Don't Forget Me" in Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
Yeah, so very excited. Think you could take me? Don't forget me.
Did you play those?
I played 2. Was it 2 I played? I played 2. I didn't play the prequel. Or the
original
one. Yeah. Well, I guess it's not a prequel. Prequel to me. I didn't finish 2 either. It's too much.
They updated it too late. They finally took out some of the "Don't Forget Me's."
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that too.
But this has me excited to like actually finish 1 because I do have it and I haven't really played. But then I also have a New Game Plus going on 2 that, not that they're going to necessarily link in, but I from what I understand, like if you've played 1, you have a better understanding and better appreciation for the ending at 2. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be some little nods and Easter egg kind of stuff in 3 for.
Didn't they say or no, maybe that was the Fire Emblem stuff or something. But didn't they say that the stuff that happened in the previous 2 affects the outcome? You get to see the So it definitely appears that it's going to be better if you had played the other 2, or at least know the sum of those stories.
And it sounds like the same voice actor that played Nina is in 3 as well.
It does. It does. Are there any other games from the Direct that we need to touch on?
I mean,
before we talk about some of the PlayStation stuff. That
is anybody mad or sad, or how excited is Josh about? Because we only briefly talked about the 48 track, like 48 tracks coming. I think we had kind of talked about it last night on NPC, and I was looking for more incentive to get people into the expansion pack, and this is definitely that. I think it's going to.
It's the best-selling game of all time.
I think they're going to see a lot of people possibly ponying up the upgrade because it's baked in, and then you get 64 titles that they've improved upon. Like they heard criticism. They definitely fixed some of that stuff with. I don't know how well it was fixed with Zelda. But
input lag is down a little bit, and they fixed the water. The fog is still missing, but otherwise it seems more playable. Yeah. How many base tracks are in 8 Deluxe already?
48. You're doubling it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I just, obviously I understand why they pushed it out over 2 years because they need that subscription money, but it's a long time to wait. I wish they would have done this 2 years ago. But I
think 9's in development. I think 9's been in development, and I think they're just like how. I think you've probably got certain people on the board and different investor meetings and stuff, and they're like, "Don't you dare stop selling 8." Right? like why would you if it's in the top 10 every week? Like,
well, and they can put out a new SKU at Christmas that's going to have the DLC baked into it, and they can sell it for.
It's Nintendo. They're going to put out the Switch with Mario Kart and 1 month of the expansion pack. It'll be the only way you can get a month.
And it won't be the good expansion pack. It'll just be it'll be online, not the expansion pack. You'll still have to upgrade. So I hate to say this because this is siding with Nintendo and being an evil corporation, but it makes no sense for them to release Mario Kart 9 on the Switch. It makes no sense. If they're smart, they will release it as a launch title, or at least in launch title with the next iteration of console to sell systems. Because if they
do you think that could be Switch Pro?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe Switch Pro.
I mean, because I think
Super Switch U. Who knows?
Because
I think they double dip. I think they release it at the end of the Switch's life cycle
Then
and
do a
do a deluxe over
because
on the
you'll
new
have because the stuff I was listening to this week, like people being 5 years in, people are saying that PS2 is within Nintendo's like sights, like that potentially.
But do you think Nintendo cares? Like records
to sell 150 million units? Yeah, they care.
I think they care to sell units, but I don't think they care about record. Those records are arbitrary, and only we care about those.
And
right?
that's fan fodder. Yeah.
I think they care about whatever their expectations were and exceeding it by X percent. And I'm sure they've already done that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see that. I could see them, pumping out 9 would definitely bring more hype. But then, you run into how much more could you possibly improve 8 on the Switch with current hardware? How much better could it realistically get? You could change mechanics. You could change
netcode and meta need to be looked at.
Clearly not. It's already one of the greatest selling games of all time. So obviously nobody cares that much.
Yes and no. I mean, I think.
Yes, all they need is the sale, right?
So,
once the sale happens.
I mean, and it's the nature of Mario Kart. Like you're unaware of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not, Josh and I have put in north of 300-400 hours into this game. I don't know what your playtime's looking at. Yeah, you're crazy.
Definitely not that much. I mean, I played a good amount of 8 for a while.
There's 2 ceilings in this game, and once you get above 10,000, what is it?
710 hours in Mario Kart.
But there's the skill tracker, the point system or whatever. Once you get like north of 5,000 points in that to 10,000 is a slog and a grind. And then for some reason, once you hit above 10,000 points, everything you start gaining more points again, easier for first place. Like first place, 5,000 to 10,000, you're only getting like 4 or 5 points sometimes if you're going against people that are inferior to your skill set.
And these points are like, whose line is it anyways?
Yep, they don't matter.
Okay. And they're completely made up.
But once you get above 10,000, you start earning like back to 21 points for a win, regardless of what people's skill number is below you. And so it's like this imaginary elo that then just resets at 10,000 points. But then you have this crazy ramp up that goes to all these people running max points at 9,999 points, and they're running super meta carts, and they have it becomes, I don't know, it takes some of the air out of the game a little bit. It's fun to take them down, but it's very frustrating, and it'd be nice if Nintendo, they don't care what we think, but like it'd be nice if they could find a way to reward people for playing however they want to play and not have to play the meta. And when you play in a Discord room full of people and you're talking about what's happening on your screen, netcode is super apparent as being busted in that game. And I'm hopeful that 4-hour down period they migrated over for when these new courses go live to analyze. First off, they're going to separate us into 2 separate pools, the haves and the have-nots, obviously. Mm-hmm. So that is troublesome in and of itself. But then it's like I'm hopeful also that maybe when this goes live, the switch is flipped and we're on the new netcode, and maybe it's a little bit, I don't know. That's pipe dreams, I think. But
I think it is pipe dreams because this is a casual this is a casual racer, right? This is not an esports title. I don't think Nintendo's ever going to treat it as such. So if you're playing this for anything more than pure enjoyment, I think you're doing it wrong. Because it's never going to be that, you know, sweaty. I mean, there's going to be moments where it definitely can be that way, but it's going to be fun between you and friends. It's not going to be the competitive racer.
The easy fix is just in the tournament mode. Give me the option to say everybody has to be in a pipe cart with standard wheels and a regular glider.
Yeah.
Right, because then it all comes down to
Skill.
to skill it.
To knowledge and skill.
Yeah. Yep. No random items. No. Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool.
But hey, there was some PlayStation news last week that we didn't get to talk about.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And
just like I said about Xbox, I'm not happy about this either.
Well,
wait, I heard something.
Yeah,
I heard something.
Well, let's say what the news. So, if you're unaware, Bungie was purchased for in the process of being purchased for $3.6 billion by Sony.
Yeah.
So there you go. So the theory is it was just a tweet or something, Reddit post, I don't know, is that Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo are doing everything they can to stick it to Apple, Google, Amazon, and Tencent.
Oh, this is coming down from the Fortnite kind of lawsuit.
I just saw a tweet or something that was like
well, Google's shutting down Stadia, right? Isn't that kind of like
no? They're selling it as a service now. They should sell it to Nintendo, honestly. But yeah, they're selling Stadia as a service, which I think makes more sense because outside of Run Jump Stomp, I don't think anyone ever gave a shit about Stadia. So I think I think
Emotional damage.
I think it makes more sense for them to run it as a service. And honestly, like if they sold this to Nintendo and Nintendo bought into it, it would make more sense for you to jump into some of these online titles. You know, we talked about it before that it's kind of scary that all of them are separate and it doesn't exist in a Play Store and you're just buying, you know, licenses to one at a time.
Yeah, temporary access to something that when they decide
exactly how Nintendo would do it.
When they decide to shut it down, they want to shut it down, they will.
Yeah. And so you know, them selling the Stadia stuff to Nintendo would make sense.
Yeah, you can buy Kingdom Hearts next week for cloud version.
All three of them. But really quick, I've been playing Sifu. It dropped on I guess today. It was early access on, or not early, but you could buy the premium or whatever and play it Sunday. And then today it dropped for everybody else. And man, it's so cool. You know, I'll just touch briefly on it. So you're playing typical kung fu revenge story. Your sensei, maybe it's your father, I'm not even really sure because there's very little dialogue, gets murdered in front of you. Then you spend your entire life training to get revenge. So it starts when you're 20 years old and you're finally like, you know, accomplished enough to take on these people who wronged your father or sensei, whoever it is. And then that's where the awesomeness starts. Like the action's really fluid. It feels really good. You have to parry, you have to block, dodge.
Is it side scrolly? Is that because I've watched a little bit of?
No, it's 3D. Okay. There is going to be a couple sections where it forces you into side scroll for, I think, just the giggles of it, but it's primarily 3D, and it feels like you're Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. Like it feels exactly like you're incredibly badass. 1v1 outside of a boss, you can take anyone out, but what these enemies will do is they'll gang up on you, and then it's, you know, very similar to the movies. Like it doesn't matter if you're Bruce Lee anymore. You can't take on 8 guys very easily, so you have to try to figure out like, okay, that guy's got a weapon, got to get rid of his weapon first, and then you want to try to do some crowd control. So like if there's stairs, you run up the stairs and make them come up the stairs one by one, and you just take them out. So on and so forth. Can you
use the weapon if you disarm somebody?
Use weapons. Okay. They'll eventually break. You can throw them. You can do whatever. You can also just throw people off of like second story of a building, whatever. Like you use the environment to your advantage. Every time you die, you age, and that's kind of eventually once you hit like 70 years old, you get one last chance, and if you die, then you die for good. So it's broken into, I think, 8 sections, and it's kind of roguelike in the sense that you have to play each section over again because you want to get your deaths down. So like the first time I beat the first section, I beat it at 35 years old. And so then I'm starting the second section at 35 years old, and then I very quickly hit 70 and died out. So I went through and rebeat the first section, and I got it down to 30 years old. And I did it again, and so like this last run, I got it down to I think 22 years old was the best one I've done so far.
Is that just 2 deaths then?
2 deaths, yeah. And the deaths compound, so it's not just like one each time. So like once you're in your 30s, like it could be 5 years for a death. And if you die to the same person over and over again, it'll keep getting worse. So if you kill that person, then it goes back down to like 1 death or whatever. But it's pretty cool how they do this. And you keep stuff you unlock in the level. So like you can unlock shortcuts in the level and then use those shortcuts to skip sections of the level so you can make it to the boss and help keep your deaths down. Ultimately,
Okay,
I think
yeah,
it's going to be a very
it
short
does
game.
have roguelike elements then.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
And so I think it's going to be a short game ultimately. Obviously some replayability, but yeah, it's super cool and pleasantly surprised. And it's not a full price title. I think it's $40, which is helpful. But yeah, really enjoying it. Pleasant surprise. And then also the Uncharted collection came out on PS5.
I upgraded that one as well. I thought I had played 4. I thought I had played 4, but I hadn't. So I've kind of was doing that last weekend.
You are so lucky then. It looks better than most next-gen games already. Like that PS4 title looks better than 90% of the next-gen games I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks so good.
Naughty Dog knows what they're doing.
They do, and it's linear.
It's
so
like
obviously,
it's like playing a movie. The Uncharted games are always just like playing a movie, and I mean that. And speaking of movies, like that comes out next week, right? Something like that.
Was it
the 18th?
Yeah, it is. Shoot, you're right. Yeah.
So
I think you get a free movie ticket for upgrading, right? Isn't it something like that? Or maybe if you buy it.
Yeah, probably an NFT.
Haven't you heard those are bad for the environment? We're all against that now. It was short-lived, and it's bad for the environment. So
right. The internet's a fad.
We gotta move on. But yeah, so Sifu's really cool.
Snozberries taste like snozberries.
I'm excited to put a little bit more time into it. I've been busy, but played a little bit, enjoying it.
Right on. Well, we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes. So with that, we will say goodbye. Thank you for pressing pause with us one more time.
Neat.